All right, picture this. It's January, and it's brutally cold outside. The wind is screaming and everything's covered in snow. You head over to your thermostat, ready to give the heat a major boost, and bam! Nothing. The power is out. No gas, no electricity, nada. Just the cold creeping into your house, and that oh crap feeling setting in. For most of us, that's a total disaster. But for the Amish, it's just Tuesday. They've been heating their homes without gas or electricity for generations. They don't just make it through winter, they kill it. No energy bills, no worrying about outages, and way less stress. In this video, we're checking out the old school heating methods the Amish swear by. These ways aren't just good at keeping you warm, they're also sustainable, save you money, and are super useful if you want to be more independent or just be ready for when the weather gets nasty. The best thing, you do not have to join the Amish or go totally off-grid to use some of these ideas. Stick with me, and by the end of this, you'll have a good idea of how to use what they know to keep your own place warm. The issue: being stuck on modern energy. Let's be real. Most of us live in houses that totally depend on modern energy. We need gas lines, electric grids, and fancy furnaces to stay comfortable. When something goes wrong with any of those things, whether it's a blackout, a broken heater, or gas prices going crazy, we're in trouble. Just the other year, we had blackouts during winter storms, energy bills through the roof, and not enough fuel, leaving tons of people freezing. Seriously. In some places, keeping your home warm has gone from something you need to do to a huge financial worry. So are we too reliant on all this stuff? And is there a smarter way to do things? The Amish definitely think so. How they heat their homes is a great example of being tough. Making do with what you have and not being tied to systems we usually do not even think about. Why the Amish skip gas and electricity. Before we look at how the Amish stay toasty, we gotta know why they avoid modern energy to begin with. It's not just about rejecting modern stuff or wanting to live in the old times. It's about what they believe in. Mainly being able to take care of themselves, sticking together as a community, and keeping things simple. For the Amish, using gas or electric heat means needing outside help, dealing with corporations, power companies, and government services. These things make you dependent. And for a group that values doing things on their own, that's a big deal. Instead, the Amish go with things they can control. Things that are local, simple, and can last. Their heating methods are made to work no matter what. Storm, blackout, or crazy prices. It's not just how they live, it's what they believe. Keep it simple. Be ready. Count on yourself and your neighbors. Not faraway systems you can't control. The wood stove, the heart of Amish heating. Okay, so how do the Amish keep their homes warm? It starts with something super old and dependable. The wood-burning stove. A wood stove might seem old-fashioned at first. After all, we have central heating, smart thermostats, and those little electric heaters. But guess what? None of that works when the power is out. A wood stove does. In an Amish home, the wood stove is where everything happens. It's where they cook, where the family hangs out, and most importantly, where the heat comes from. Heat that only needs wood and someone who knows what they're doing. How a wood stove does its thing. Wood stoves burn logs to make heat, but they do it in a controlled way. A good stove is made of strong stuff like cast iron or steel, with a box for the fire, a chimney to let out smoke, and dampers to control the airflow. By messing with how much air the fire gets, you decide how hot and fast it burns. The goal isn't just to make flames, it's to make steady, reliable heat that keeps the house warm for hours. Amish families use their stoves all day, not just to heat, but often to cook too. It's useful for many things, and in lots of homes, it's the only way they stay warm when it's freezing outside. Firewood, getting ready for winter the Amish way. Here's something you might not know. Heating with wood is not just about having a stove. It's about having the right fuel. The Amish spend months getting ready for winter by chopping, splitting, and stacking firewood. They usually use hand tools or equipment pulled by horses, doing the work themselves instead of using machines or gas-powered saws. But it's not just about having wood. It's about having good wood. Freshly cut, or green wood, is wet and doesn't burn well. It makes a lot of smoke, builds up gunk in your chimney, and doesn't give off much heat. That's why the Amish let their firewood dry out for 6 to 12 months. That way, it burns hotter, cleaner, and better. It takes some planning and effort, but it means you get the most heat with the least waste. Using a wood stove, something you learn over time. Working a wood stove isn't as easy as hitting a button on a thermostat. You need to know what you're doing, have some experience, and pay attention. Amish families teach their kids early on how to
start a fire safely and get it burning well.
adjust the airflow using the dampers, keep the temperature steady without making the room too hot, clean and take care of the stove to keep it safe and working right. This know-how gets passed down from parents to kids. It's part of their way of life, a long-standing practice that connects them to their past and helps them in the present. Cost. And can it last? Let's talk money. In the normal house, heating can cost thousands each year. Gas bills, electricity, upkeep and repairs add up quickly. But with a wood stove, it barely costs anything, especially if you get the wood nearby or from your own property. Even buying firewood is often cheaper than paying for gas or electricity all winter. And then there's thinking about the future. Wood can be replaced, especially if you cut down trees responsibly. You don't have the pollution from power plants or pipelines, just trees, work, and warmth. What's coming up? More than just wood stoves. But the wood stove is only part of the story. Next time, we'll see how the Amish use huge masonry heaters to store heat and let it out over a whole day. Home design tricks that trap heat naturally. And simple things like lanterns and insulation to stay comfortable without needing the power grid. You'll see that heating your home like the Amish isn't just doable, it's smart. Okay, so last time we talked about how the Amish use wood-burning stoves to heat their houses. And they don't have gas or electricity, just firewood they get ready themselves, and know-how that's been around for generations. Keeping a house warm isn't just about making heat, though. It's about keeping the heat inside so you don't waste it. That's where the Amish really do well. Now let's check how they use cool things like masonry heaters, smart house designs, and stuff from nature to keep their homes warm and cozy. No thermostat needed. Masonry heaters, heating things up slowly. Imagine a fireplace that doesn't just keep you warm while the fire's going, but keeps your house toasty for hours, maybe even days after the fire's out. That's what a masonry heater does, and a lot of Amish folks love them. How they do it. A masonry heater is a big thing made of brick, stone, or stuff that holds heat well. It's not like a regular fireplace. It's made to hold heat from a short, super hot fire and then give that heat off slowly. Here's how it works. 1. You make a really hot fire inside the heater. It burns fast, maybe for just an hour or two. 2. The brick or stone soaks up the heat from the fire and gets super hot. 3. Once the fire burns out, the brick gives off heat into the house for like half a day, maybe even a whole day or more. 4. You only need to start One fire a day, sometimes even less. This makes these heaters use gas very well, and you don't have to do a lot to keep them going. Why? It's so darn good. So why are these things so great? What's another? Here are a couple of things. Super hot fires. The fire burns really hot and clean. That means you don't get as much smoke and the wood burns all the way. Holds heat like crazy. Instead of the heat just going up the chimney, it gets trapped and then slowly released. This means you don't need as much wood, and your home stays warm for a long time once the fire goes out. The Amish really care about not wasting stuff and using what they have wisely. This way of heating is good. More and more people who think about the environment are using masonry heaters for the same things. How long it lasts and how much it costs. Okay, so here's the deal. Masonry heaters can cost a bit to build. You need someone who knows what they're doing. And you need some area and these raw materials. But once it's built, it can last like 50 to 100 years. If you take care of it. The Amish family see this as a long-term thing. If it's built right, it can heat a big house with just one fire a day that uses less wood than a regular stove. It's all about doing the hard work up front so you have it good for the long run. The Amish think that way about a lot of things. Smart house design, keeping the heat where it should be. Okay, let's talk about houses for a minute. The Amish don't just think about making heat. They think about keeping it inside. Their houses are made to use stuff that happens naturally, like the way materials work and how sunlight can heat things up. That way, the place stays warm without using a lot of power. Stuff from nature that keeps you warm. Amish houses usually have thick walls made of stone, brick, or solid wood. These things hold heat. They soak up heat during the day and then give it off slowly at night. It's the same thing with a masonry heater, but it works for the whole house. Modern houses usually use fake stuff to keep the heat in, but that stuff can break down over time. The Amish use things from nature that last for years and keep the heat in very well. Small and useful layouts. Amish houses are usually small and simple. Instead of having big, sprawling houses with rooms no one uses, their houses are made to keep heat in as much as possible. Here's one example. Low ceilings in the living room keep the heat down where people are. Not as many outside walls that let heat escape. The stove is in the area of the house, so one stove can keep a bunch of rooms warm. It's not about having fancy decor, it's about being useful. Everything is made to keep heat in and have things being comfortable without using a bunch of firewood. The sun is your friend. Even without solar panels and other things, the Amish use the sun to keep their houses warm. They can do this by putting the windows in the right spot. Amish houses usually face south, with bigger windows on the south side. That way, the sunlight comes in during the day and warms the place up naturally. At night, they cover the windows with blankets, thick curtains, wooden shutters. This traps the heat inside, so it's like a greenhouse during the day, and it keeps the house warm at night. And remember, these are easy, cheap things that you can do yourself. Windows, keeping heat where it belongs. Windows usually let heat out of any house. The Amish fix this with some easy things. A lot of them use windows with 2 panes of glass or storm windows. That makes an air pocket that keeps the air good. Even the doors of windows matters. Tight, good raw materials, taking care of things all helps keep the heat in. Once again, it's not about all the fancy designs, it's about being smart and thinking about the little things. Extra heat sources, lanterns. Besides the heat, wood stoves, Amish houses sometimes use oil lanterns. This is for light, but also it helps provide amounts of heat in area of the home. These lamps can be handy on bedrooms or work areas where those areas are farther from the heat stoves. Lanterns can be moved around, they give light and heat, and they don't need electricity. The Amish families use them to keep warm at nights. Heating the person, not a room. How the Amish do heating is you don't need to warm the whole house. You need to keep people warm. They use heavy quilts, wool clothing, layered bedding, rugs on floors. These easy tools make it feel warmer without using more fuel. It's changing your mindset rather than chasing specific rooms to keep it at a certain temperature. You focus on clothing to keep you warm. Okay, so we've been looking at how the Amish keep their houses warm using things like wood stoves, special heaters made of brick or stone, and house designs that naturally keep heat inside. Now, let's get down to how you can use some of these ideas in your own place. You don't have to ditch your normal life or move to the countryside to make the most of what the Amish know, whether you're in a city apartment, a house in the suburbs, or out in the sticks. There are easy ways to keep your home warmer, spend less on heating, and be ready if energy gets scarce or expensive. We're going to see how we can bring together old-fashioned wisdom and what works today. Let's check out how to heat your house smarter, save some cash, and get more control over how warm you are and how much energy you use. Modern wood stoves. Old ideas, new homes. We see how Amish families use old-school wood stoves. But can you put one in a modern house? Yep, you sure can. And more folks are doing just that every year. Wood stoves today are way better than the ones from the olden days. These days, they're small and look good. Super good at heating, with tight seals and controls for the airflow. Approved by the EPA for burning clean and not making too much smoke. They don't just heat things up. They're a good way to use less gas or electricity for heat. Pellet stoves, easy to use and good at heating. If you don't want to deal with finding or chopping wood, think about a pellet stove. They burn little bits of wood that are pressed together, made from stuff that's been recycled. They're easier to keep and move around, cleaner to burn than regular wood. And finally someone to rendoers. Often do things themselves with timers and storage bins. Pellet stoves do need a little electricity to run their fans and stuff, but they use way less power than those central heating systems. A lot of people see them as a great choice. Good at heating, not bad for the planet, and not too hard to run. How much it costs now versus later. Let's talk about money. A wood or pellet stove might set you back $1,000 to $5,000, depending on what kind you get and how you set it up. But you'll save a lot in the long run. Your heating bills will go way down or even disappear. They don't need much fixing or work. You can still have heat even when the power's out. If you get your wood or pellets from local places, you'll save even more dough. Think of it like putting money into something good. Not just your house, but being able to take care of yourself. DIY insulation, tricks from the Amish. You don't have to get a stove to start saving on heat. The Amish are really into insulation. You can copy what they do, no matter where you live. Start with easy, cheap updates. Seal up windows and doors with weather stripping or caulk. Put up thick curtains to keep heat in at night. Use strips under doors to stop drafts. Put rugs on bare floors to keep heat in. These aren't just about being comfy. They can lower your energy use by 10 to 30%. Thick curtains. Simple, but they work. The Amish use thick homemade curtains to keep heat inside. They let sunlight in during the day. At night, they shut them tight. If you've got an old house, thick Thermal curtains or insulated drapes can really help, especially on older windows. What you use matters, but when you use it matters just as much. Open them to let heat in. Close them to trap it. Easy. It works. Always has. Only heat what you use. Amish houses are made to keep the heat in the rooms where people spend their time. You can do that too. Close off rooms you're not using. Use portable heaters or heated blankets where you need them. Heat the people, not the whole house. This doesn't just save money, it feels better. Backup heating. Be ready for anything. Even if you don't switch over to wood or pellet stoves, it's a good idea to have some kind of backup heat. Some things you can use. Kerosene heaters. Make sure they're vented and you use them safely. Propane space heaters. Heaters that run on batteries for when the power's out briefly. Or at the very least, have some thick blankets, hand warmers, and clothes you can layer. The point is to be ready. You don't want to be figuring this out when the power goes out during the winter. Think about heating differently. Here's something cool. The Amish think about heating as something they have to do, not something that just happens. They plan, get ready, and take care of their heating. They don't just set it and forget it. They're part of the process. You can think like that too. Learn how your house loses heat. Do things to keep the heat in. Know your options. Just being aware of this can make a big difference. Real life. A family in the suburbs tries Amish heating. Let me tell you about a family in the Midwest who put a wood stove in their home, not because they wanted to live like the Amish, but because their heating bills had become too expensive. They learned how to cut and store wood, bought a modern airtight stove, and used it as their main way to heat their house. In one winter, they saved over $1,000, stayed warm when the power went out, and felt like they were in control. They didn't become Amish. They just used some smart techniques. And now they're helping other people do the same thing. Why this is so important now? We're in strange times. Energy costs are going up, and the weather's getting weird. Relying only on power companies can be risky. The Amish show us that old ways still work, and sometimes they're even better. I'm not saying you have to give up modern life. It's about being ready for anything. About knowing that you can keep your home, your family, and your future in control, even if the normal systems aren't working. So, we've been talking about how the Amish keep their houses warm with stuff like wood stoves, those cool masonry heaters, and really good insulation, and how you can use those ideas to save on your energy bill and be more in charge of your own home. Now, let's tie it all together and make it practical. I'm going to give you a simple plan you can follow to use these methods in your own life. It doesn't matter if you want to totally change things up or just do a few small things. This will work for you. We'll chat about the bigger picture too. What does it really mean to heat your house like the Amish when energy is so unpredictable and prices keep going up? This isn't just about staying cozy. It's about having freedom, being able to handle whatever comes your way and being ready for winter no matter what. Step 1. Figure out what you're working with now. Before you start making changes, you need to see what your home is like now. Ask yourself these questions. How are you heating your house right now? Is it gas, electric, or oil? What does it usually cost to heat your house in the winter? Do you have any other ways to heat your house if your main system breaks? Where is your house losing heat? Is it through the windows, doors, or walls? Once you know these things, you can easily see where you need to make the most adjustments. Step 2. Stop heat from escaping. Quick fixes. Start with the easy stuff that helps keep the heat inside. These are cheap, quick, and they work really well. Here's what to do. Seal up any cracks around your windows and doors where air is getting in. Put up thick curtains or drapes that will hold the heat in. Put rugs down on cold floors. Close off any rooms you aren't using to keep the heat where you need it. Put weather stripping around doors to keep air from coming in. Doing these things can cut down on heat loss by as much as 30%, and they don't cost much at all compared to what you're paying for heating. Step 3. Get another way to heat. If you really want to have more control over your heating, think about adding a backup system. You don't even have to get rid of your regular furnace. Here are some good options. Wood stove. Great if you want to save money in the long run, be able to heat if the power goes out, and have something reliable. Pellet stove. Burns cleaner than a wood stove, is more automated, and still heats well. Portable propane heater. Good for emergencies or heating a small area. Kerosene heater. Heats up fast, but you have to be careful when using it and make sure you have good airflow. Start small. Even having one room that you can heat with something else can be a lifesaver if the power goes out or there's a cold snap. Step 4. Be smart about how you use heat. Amish families don't just crank up the heat and forget about it. They use it on purpose. You can do the same thing. Here are some ideas. Cook at home more often. The oven naturally adds heat to the house. Put on layers of clothes and use blankets before you turn up the thermostat. Spend more time in the warmest parts of your house. Open curtains during the day to let the sun heat the place up, and close them at night to keep the heat in. It's about deciding how you want to be comfortable, instead of just wasting energy without thinking. Step 5. Be ready for problems. Even if you don't plan on living completely off the grid, it's good to be ready if something goes wrong. Put together a winter emergency kit with a backup way to heat, wood stove, heater, or warm blankets. Fuel, wood, pellets, propane, or kerosene. Flashlights or lanterns, battery-powered or oil lamps. Warm clothes, gloves, and hats. Food and water that won't spoil. Know how to stay warm even if the power goes out. The Amish don't worry when the power's out, and you don't have to either. Amish-style heating 3 levels. Here's a plan you can follow based on how the Amish do things. Level 1. Keep the heat in. Add as much insulation as you can. Use natural ways to trap heat. Let the sun help heat your house. Level 2. Extra heating. Add a wood or pellet stove. Use portable heaters. Focus on heating the rooms you use the most. Level 3. Do it yourself. Get your own fuel. Wood, pellets, etc. Don't rely on utilities as much. Stay comfortable, even when the power is out. You don't have to do everything at once. Pick a level that works for your goals and how much money you want to spend. Big picture. Why this matters. Why are more people interested in heating their homes like the Amish? We're realizing that our energy systems aren't perfect. They're easy to use. They can be unreliable. Prices go up, the power goes out, and storms happen. Heating like the Amish isn't about living like it's the 1800s. It's about preparing for what the future might bring. It's about saving money over time, not depending on systems that might fail you, being kinder to the environment, and most importantly, making sure your family is safe and comfortable. It's about being smart. Do more with less. Be ready for anything. Stay warm. Your way. Real people, real stories. Lots of families are taking these steps. One family put a pellet stove in their house in the city. They cut their heating bill in half, had heat when the power went out, and felt good about being in control. Another family built a masonry heater when they were fixing up their house. It cost more in the beginning, but now they use half the firewood, and their house stays cozy all the time, even when there are storms. These aren't survivalists. They're regular people making smart choices. Final thoughts. Start small. You don't have to live like you're Amish to use their heating ideas. Start with sealing up air leaks, using thick curtains, wearing layers of clothing, putting in a stove or heater, even a small one. Everything you do gives you more control. You'll save more money and have more peace of mind. Your turn. What will you do? So, what are you going to do this week to heat your home smarter? Are you going to look for air leaks? Learn about wood stoves? Put up thicker curtains? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn more, it's full of stuff you won't find anywhere else.